Bella, the script is ready. After my parents died in a car accident, I worked 3 jobs to put my sister through school. But she started dating a school security guard. I told her, even if you finish your studies, you'll still end up working for someone else. There's no future in that. But she replied, he said he'd take care of me my whole life. I'll be happy. Furious, I locked her in the house, forbidding her to see that security guard. I never imagined this ungrateful sister would conspire with him to plot my demise. After my rebirth, I returned to the day she declared she wanted to be with the security guard. This time, I didn't object. Instead, I wholeheartedly supported her. If you don't want to study, then give this chance to change your fate back to me, I told her. She happily chirped, Bella, he's really a great guy. Watching my foolish, love-struck sister gush about her romance, I only felt ridicule. In my previous life, I toiled through 3 jobs to put her through school. Not only was she ungrateful, but she even conspired with that security guard to kill me, just to snatch our parents' compensation money. This time, I wouldn't do anything useless, wouldn't help someone undeserving. I'd respect others' choices and let them face their own destiny. Let's see how wonderful her future with a security guard would be. I said, all right, I support you. If you don't want to study, then don't. Then I cleared away all her textbooks and study materials. My sister, Autumn, looked at me bewildered. Before, I used to watch her like a hawk, afraid she'd fall in love too soon and ruin her studies. Yet now she openly admitted to an early romance and I wasn't angry. It was truly abnormal. She tugged at my hand and asked, Bella, you're angry, aren't you? I patted her head, replying, I'm not angry. She continued, Bella, he's truly capable. Don't just see him as a security guard, he's very intelligent and has a business mind. After we get married, all the money he earns will be mine, and what's mine is also yours. Hearing my sister parrot Michael's deceptive words, I only found it amusing. His name was Michael, 21 years old. He dropped out after middle school and was rumored to have gotten into a fight with thugs, leaving someone crippled and landing him in jail. After his release, he became a security guard at my sister's high school. His family consisted of a younger brother with an intellectual disability and a father addicted to alcohol and gambling. Such a household would even make Guanyin Bodhisattva lose a layer of skin trying to deal with it. He was only pursuing Autumn because he'd heard that after our parents died, my sister and I received a significant compensation sum. Knowing Autumn's simple mind, he planned to win her over first, then eliminate me to seize all the money. I said, yes, I trust your judgment, Bella. He certainly has a bright future. Since you don't want to study anymore, then fine. I'll go back to school in your place. The next morning, I rode my bicycle to school to process my sister's withdrawal. Her homeroom teacher wasn't surprised at all. Autumn never had a good reputation at school. She hated studying, spent all day looking in the mirror, painting her face, and altering her uniform to be skin-tight. Instead of textbooks, she'd bring only makeup to class and disrupt lessons, changing seatmates 4 or 5 times a semester. After handling my sister's affairs, I went to the 12th grade office to process my return to school. The moment my homeroom teacher, Mr. Zhang, saw me, his eyes welled up slightly. I knew it, he said. I advised you to defer, not drop out. In the end, I was right. You were bound to come back. That year, after my parents' accident, Mr. Zhang had helped our family immensely, from money to funeral arrangements. When I decided to drop out to work and support my sister, he vehemently opposed it, persuading me to take a 1-year leave of absence instead of quitting outright. After completing the formalities, I returned to class and began my studies. After school, as I passed the school gate, Michael, the security guard, called out to me, Bella, you're done with school? Let me bike you home. He wore an ill-fitting security uniform. Though still in his youth, he already had a beer belly and a double chin that almost completely covered his neck, making his head seem to sit directly on his chest, with no visible neck at all. At just 21, he exuded a distinctly greasy aura. I looked at him indifferently and said coldly, I don't know you well, don't drag me into your business with Autumn, I'm not your sister. He chuckled, that's too distant, Bella, sooner or later we'll be family. If you're Autumn's sister, you're my sister too. Autumn is very filial. I pushed my bicycle, completely ignoring him. He continued to follow, it's like this, Autumn wants to move in with me but she's shy to say it, so she asked me to tell you. His beady eyes gleamed with greed as he stared at me. I calmly replied, then move out, I have no objection. Autumn moving out to live on her own would be good. I wouldn't have to see her face and get annoyed, and I'd be free of distractions to focus on my studies. He pressed on, "But Bella, you know my family's situation. It's not very convenient for Autumn to live at my place. Autumn told me you too have a compensation fund. Could you perhaps—" I cut him off, speaking decisively. The person who caused the accident was a truck driver. His family had two bedridden elderly parents, and his wife and children all suffered from genetic diseases. He was the sole breadwinner for the entire family, so they sold their land to gather 50,000 yuan as compensation. That money was originally mine, intended for Autumn to study abroad. But after everything that happened in my previous life, I've thought it through. I toiled to support her studies, yet she was incited by others and conspired with them to burn me to death. An ungrateful, treacherous sister like her doesn't deserve that money. When I got home, I saw 4 dishes laid out on the dining table. Autumn wore an apron, holding a cooking ladle, her face flushed from exertion. She beamed, "Bella, today's your first day back at school, so I specially made a feast for you. Hurry and try some." With that, she took my satchel from my shoulder. I glanced into the kitchen and sure enough saw takeout bags neatly tucked into the trash can. "Did you really make this?" I asked her, looking at her. Yes, why?" Caught off guard by my question, she scratched her nose, then pushed my shoulder, forcing me to sit down. I lowered my head, picked up my chopsticks, and ate without a word. Nothing good ever comes for free. The room was silent. Halfway through my meal, Autumn couldn't stand it anymore. She put down her chopsticks and turned to me. "Bella, I want to discuss something with you." She twisted the hem of her apron. Before I could even open my mouth, she rushed on, "I want to move out and live with Michael. I'm not going to study anymore. It's better to get married and have children early." I struggled to suppress the urge to flip the rice bowl over her head. Calmly, I replied, "All right, suit yourself." My overly nonchalant attitude made her uneasy. It was nothing like the strict older sister she knew. Perhaps recalling some of Michael's instigations, she mustered her courage again. "I want to rent a room with him. You know his father drinks and gambles a lot, so it's not convenient for me to stay at their house. Bella, about that compensation money, could you lend me a part of it? I'll pay you back later." Out of consideration for her being my sister, I patiently listened until she finished. Swallowing the mouthful of rice, I set my bowl down, my gaze as cold as a knife. "Absolutely not. That money is only for your education. Other than that, don't even think about it. Isn't Michael intelligent and capable? Then let him earn his own money to support you." I stood up, looking at the dinner spread. "If you're not going to study, then from now on, you'll do all the housework. Once you're married, will you eat takeout every day? Am I right?" Exposed, Autumn's face fell, but I paid her no mind, walking straight into the study. Reborn, every minute and every second was precious and couldn't be wasted. The next morning, Autumn had moved out. My mood was significantly lighter. After all, she had once been the one who tried to kill me. How could I easily forgive her? I decided to let her fend for herself. Back in 12th grade, I had forgotten a lot of knowledge, so relearning it was a struggle. Half a month passed, and the first mock exam arrived. Sitting in the exam room, my state of mind was completely different from before. If previously I only wanted to achieve high scores to please adults, now I simply wanted to secure a deserving future for myself. 3 days later, the results were announced. I ranked second in the entire grade and first in my class. Mr. Zhang praised me in front of the whole class, telling everyone to learn from me, and even appointed me as class president. Initially, I intended to refuse, but when I saw the encouraging look in my homeroom teacher's eyes, I chose to accept. After a week as class president, one day, Mr. Zhang walked into the classroom with a serious expression, followed by the student welfare officer. He slammed his lesson plan onto the podium and announced loudly, "In all my years as a homeroom teacher, I have never encountered a class where a student stole money." I folded the English book in my hand and looked up at the podium. "I'll give until this morning. Whoever stole the money, quietly come to me and return it. Then this matter will be considered resolved." In the classroom, students began to whisper, "Who could it be? Who would steal from the class fund?" Our class never had this problem before. Ever since Bella came back, there have been thefts. Her family seems to be struggling and her parents don't care about tuition. She earns it all herself from part-time jobs. Those whispers reached my ears, not a single word missed. I turned and glared at the group of gossiping students. They immediately fell silent, lowering their heads. "If you have evidence, then go ahead and report me," I said, coldly and without emotion. Mr. Zhang slammed the table several times, demanding silence so class could begin. I tossed my English book into my desk and bent down to get my math book, but just as I pulled it out, several pink banknotes and a few coins clattered to the floor. The sound of the coins hitting the floor like ice dropping into a hot pan instantly quieted the classroom. My mind churned like a thick green porridge. The three words, "It's not me," choked in my throat, unable to fully escape. After class, I was called to the teacher's office. Mr. Zhang took off his glasses, rubbed the bridge of his nose, and said gently, "I know it wasn't you, Bella. I trust your character. Have you had any conflicts with anyone recently, inside or outside of school?" He didn't suspect me at all, which deeply moved me. His words also brought me to my senses. I had only been back at school for half a month and hadn't caused any trouble with anyone there. I only knew 2 people. In the next class, Mr. Zhang explained to everyone that I had been falsely accused and warned the students spreading rumors. After evening self-study, I returned home, unexpectedly finding Michael and Autumn there. I paused at the doorway, looking at them. "What are you two doing here?" I asked coldly. "If it's still about money, then don't bother, I won't agree." Looking at the bags of expensive fruits and gifts on the floor, I added, "Take these things back too. I can't accept them." Autumn, having been spoiled since childhood, became annoyed and sulky after being rejected twice, intending to leave. Michael held her back, patting her on the back to reassure her. "Bella, we didn't come to borrow money today. Autumn heard you were wronged at school, so she bought some fruit to visit you. You've misunderstood us. We're family, why talk about money?" Hearing about being wronged, I turned back and stared at them. "How did you two know I was wronged? I'm not so desperate for money that I'd steal 342 yuan, am I?" Autumn pouted and chuckled. "It's only 342 yuan. Even if you're poor, Bella, you wouldn't stoop to that." I immediately dropped my smile, my gaze sharp. "The class fund is 342 yuan. Only the student welfare officer and the homeroom teacher knew this. How did you two know?" "Ah, I forgot, there's one more person who knows, the thief himself." Michael glared at Autumn, snapping, "Shut up." I gave a cold laugh. "So, it was you two who put the money in my desk." Autumn interrupted. "No, not the desk, it was put in the backpack." "No one could see?" A smug expression appeared on her face. Michael was stunned by her stupid remark, both furious and flustered. He yelled, "Idiot, shut your mouth." He turned to me, lowering his voice. "Bella, at this point, everyone thinks you stole the money. If we step forward and clarify that Autumn put the money there as a joke, wouldn't we be doing you a huge favor? So, could you lend us some of the compensation money as a thank you?" I couldn't help but laugh out of anger. How could they think such a ridiculous excuse would be believed? How could I be related by blood to these two underdeveloped brains? My foolish sister, with a brain that seemed unevolved. "It wasn't me, and I don't need to prove anything," I said coldly. "You too, leave." Seeing me unmoved, Michael grew more anxious. "Are you going to let yourself be branded a thief forever?" I curled my lip in a faint smile. "A theft did indeed happen, but it wasn't me, it was the two of you." With that, I took out my phone, opened the audio recording file I had just made, and waved it in front of them. The moment I entered the house, I sensed a strange atmosphere. Since that incident happened in the morning, and these two showed up in the evening, I had started the recording for my own protection. Both of them were stunned, their earlier arrogance suddenly vanished. It was then that Autumn realized she had slipped up. She quickly stepped forward, trying to play on my emotions. "Bella, our parents are gone. You're the only family I have left. You wouldn't let me suffer, would you?" I burst out laughing. "Life's path is like underwear. Everyone chooses their own, and it has nothing to do with anyone else. You refused to study, abandoned a bright future to choose a foolish security guard. You're truly shaming our parents. An adult can rely on the vast seas and towering mountains, but absolutely not on a man. Reborn, the ridiculous remain ridiculous, and the ignorant remain ignorant. This path is your own choice, and it has nothing to do with me. You're 18 now, so take responsibility for yourself." My words cut into Autumn's heart like a knife. She feigned tears, her eyes welling up but not actually shedding any. Seeing that the situation was unsalvageable, Michael angrily dragged Autumn away. I transferred the audio file to a USB drive and the next morning submitted it directly to the school. The principal was furious and immediately contacted the head of security to fire Michael. Autumn had already dropped out and was no longer a student, so the school couldn't take any action against her. News of Michael's dismissal quickly reached Autumn. She cried and knelt before the principal's office, her hair disheveled, skin pale, clothes wrinkled, and even handprints visible on her face. From her previously proud, girlish appearance, she now looked exactly like a disheveled woman. Clearly, her days living with Michael had not been easy. It was rumored that ever since losing his job, Michael had been drinking all day, getting drunk, and then beating Autumn. The once attentive boyfriend now revealed his true nature, no different from his abusive father. Indeed, genetics are truly powerful. Mr. Zhang, under pressure from the school, came to find me, hoping I would take Autumn home. I squatted down beside Autumn. She looked at me with eyes full of resentment, clutching my arm tightly. "Bella, you're my biological sister. Before Mom and Dad died, they entrusted me to you. Why are you treating me like this?" My arm throbbed, and my long-suppressed emotions nearly exploded. I grabbed her hand and forcefully pushed it away. "I am your sister, but I owe you nothing. I work to support you out of conscience and family responsibility, not out of obligation. You are grown now, capable of standing on your own. Michael is not a good person, realize it soon." Autumn stood before me, tears silently falling. Her hair obscured her eyes, making her face unreadable. Her whole body looked like a broken puppet. It was said that after that, Michael, in a drunken rage, carried a bottle of liquor to the school to pick Autumn up. Once they returned home, another beating was inevitable. In the days leading up to the final exams, I was completely absorbed in my studies, with no time to worry about other matters. One day, at the canteen, I overheard some staff members talking. They recounted how Michael's father, the alcoholic gambler, after learning his son had been fired, drank an entire bottle of white liquor and then charged into the principal's office with a gas cylinder, holding a lighter, intending to risk everything. Their entire family relied on Michael's meager salary. Now that he had lost his job, their source of income was gone. A gambling addict like his father, pushed to the brink, would definitely do something reckless. The staff didn't go into detail, only saying that in the end, the school arranged for Michael to work at the boarding students' dormitory, in charge of collecting shower fees. It was said that after the uproar, Michael became much more subdued. Many times I saw him on campus. He would just nod in greeting, with no further reaction. After a long time, Autumn sent me an apology message. I didn't read it carefully, I just accidentally swiped to delete it. A life taken cannot be repaid, nor can it be forgiven. After the final exams, I ranked second in the entire grade and first in my class. My teachers praised me greatly, but I wasn't overly joyful because if I do something, I must do it to the best of my ability. I wanted to be first, so I studied even harder, never putting down my books even while eating. The second semester of 12th grade began. To boost the performance of gifted students, the school arranged a special class for the top 30 science students, called Class 0. Every Friday, all students in the school had to take a weekly exam, and if you dropped out of the top 30, you'd be moved back to a regular class. This system, though harsh, greatly stimulated students' competitive spirit. It was a normal Friday, and I was working on the last math problem of the exam when I suddenly experienced stomach pain due to my menstrual period. One hand clutched my stomach, the other tried to finish writing. Suddenly, a girl sitting next to me, Selene, raised her hand and stood up. "Teacher, Bella is cheating?" The proctor was an 11th grade literature teacher. Hearing this, he walked over. Selene pointed to a neatly folded piece of paper lying on the floor near my desk. "This is her undeniable proof?" The teacher bent down to pick up the paper. I had just finished writing the last character, set down my pen, and said decisively, "It's not mine." The teacher unfolded the paper and compared it to my answers. "It's not yours. The solution in your paper is identical to the content on this sheet, word for word, even the symbols and Roman numerals. Are you still going to deny it?" His voice suddenly grew louder. Just then, the bell rang, signaling the end of the exam. Students submitted their papers and gathered, whispering excitedly. A girl in the class spoke up in my defense. "Teacher, Bella always ranks first. Why would she cheat?" Selene scoffed. "Are you her inner worm? You seem to know everything about her. This is a weekly exam that determines class placement. If she cheated, it's unfair to those who couldn't get into Class 0. Teacher, just cancel her exam results." That would be fair and serve as a deterrent to everyone. The teacher was clearly persuaded. Class 0 of 12th grade was known for its strict exam rules. Even discovering one case of cheating came with a 100 yuan reward. The teacher didn't look at me, preparing to collect my exam paper. I watched him and let out a soft laugh, not too loud, not too soft, but enough to draw everyone's attention. "Teacher," I said, "if you believe I cheated, then let me retake this exam. If I can remember everything and solve it perfectly, wouldn't that be the clearest proof?" The teacher found my suggestion reasonable and intended to take me to the office to retake the exam, but Selene still wouldn't give up. She cheated, so she knows the answers now. She just needs to copy them down. How does that prove anything? I couldn't hold back anymore. I stood up, my face completely cold. I took the paper from the teacher's hand and looked at Seleni's exam. It truly was the pot calling the kettle black. It was the first time I had witnessed it firsthand. Seleni's face flushed with anger. "Who's the thief?" she shrieked. I pointed at the paper. "You copied this from my notes, but you forgot one thing. I use a 2-yuan gel pen while you use a fountain pen. The handwriting on this paper is smudged, which only a fountain pen can cause. A gel pen shows no such phenomenon. If you still won't admit it, I'll report you to the police." Falsely accusing someone is against the law, and they'll quickly investigate and clarify everything. The students in the class surged forward to examine both the exam paper and the cheat sheet. Everyone agreed with my assessment. Indeed, the handwriting on the paper showed signs of smudging. The proctor, exasperated and not wanting to waste any more time, said, "It seems she has a point. Otherwise, let's all go to the police station and let the officers sort this out." Selene, who had been aggressive moments ago, now had beads of sweat on her forehead, her gaze evasive. I looked directly at her. "We've only been classmates for a week. I don't think I've made any enemies with you. Tell me who told you to do this?" Selene trembled, her shoulders shaking slightly, and a few tears fell from her eyes. She sighed, then slowly said, "I really didn't mean to harm you. My mother forces me to stay in class 0 or she'll punish me. Yesterday, someone approached me and said that if I framed you for cheating, they would give me the answers for this exam. My mother truly pushed me to a dead end. I had no other choice but to agree." After Selene finished speaking, it was as if a heavy burden had been lifted. She sat there, sobbing uncontrollably. Who was that person? In my heart, I already had the answer. It was Michael, the security guard who used to work at the school. The student affairs office took Selene to their office, and her exam results were canceled. Afterward, the student affairs office sought out Michael. He didn't deny anything, frankly admitting what he had done, and even threatened, "If you don't give me the compensation money, there will be even more dirty tricks waiting for you." The school, fearing a repeat of his father's previous incident with the gas cylinder in the principal's office, only dared to withhold a portion of his salary as a warning. I realized that only by dealing with this mad dog myself could I truly focus on my final year of high school in peace. One evening, while I was studying online, I received a recommended video from a live stream platform. In the video, Autumn and Michael, dressed in ragged clothes, sat by a fireplace. In front of them was a small table displaying various handmade crafts. Autumn, with teary eyes, recounted with great injustice that after their parents' death, her older sister had taken all the compensation money and driven her out of the house. With no other choice, she had to drop out of school and earn a living by selling handmade crafts. Fortunately, she met Michael, a kind-hearted man who gave her a home. She spoke very emotionally, as if telling a truly tragic story. Viewers in the live stream room immediately expressed sympathy, rushing to order crafts from their little yellow cart. Michael stood beside her, adding, "How can there be such a cruel person in this world, driving her own sister out of the house and even stealing her parents' compensation money?" One commenter wrote, "Sister, your sister's house is only 3 km from yours. Tell me where your sister lives. I'll go find her and settle the score." Autumn, seeing everyone's reaction, feigned gratitude. "Oh, please don't do that, everyone. After all, she's my biological sister. If you make trouble for her, I'll be very sad." Michael interjected again, expressing indignation. "You're still thinking about her. Has she ever thought about you? While you were shivering by the fireplace, she was sitting in a warm room reading. Did she ever care about you? Everyone, look at these hands. These are the hands of an 18-year-old girl." He ignored Autumn's protests and held her hands up to the camera. They were rough, chapped, and devoid of any healthy color. Michael choked up, "Autumn and I don't have a single penny. We work odd jobs during the day and make crafts at night to survive. She should have been living carefree days, but now she has to worry about every meal and every piece of clothing." After he finished, he even shed a tear, as if truly heartbroken. I almost clapped, applauding. What a master of pathetic theatrics. The comment section of the live stream was filled with insults directed at me. Some even asked Michael to leave his bank account number so they could transfer money to support them. A parent commented, "My child also attends that school. Tell us who that person is. We'll go to the school and demand justice for Autumn." Autumn pretended to hesitate, but Michael couldn't hold back anymore. "Thank you all for your help. I didn't intend to reveal her name, but she's gone too far." At this moment, someone in the comments jumped in and said, I know. It's Bella, Autumn's older sister. After her parents died, she stayed home doing nothing, making her sister go out and work to support her. It's truly unacceptable. I clicked on that person's profile page. It turned out to be a newly created account. I gave a cold laugh. Creating a fake account like that was far too obvious. However, the crowd in the live stream was blinded by rage, completely unable to distinguish right from wrong. They all focused their attacks on me. The next morning, I didn't go to school. Instead, I went straight to the police station to report the crime of defamation and spreading false rumors, which is illegal. Offenders can face severe penalties. I gathered all the evidence I had, along with the history of money transfers I had made to support Autumn throughout the years, and handed it all over to the police. After leaving the police station, I went straight to Michael's current residence. Previously, he lived in a self-built house in the western suburbs of the city, but now, thanks to those pity-mongering live streams, he and Autumn had earned enough money to rent a small apartment in the city center. However, his father, an alcoholic, knew nothing of this. I knocked on the door. Before it opened, I turned on my phone camera and placed it in my breast pocket to livestream. As the door opened, Autumn appeared in a silk pajama set, with a suspicious look on her face. Bella, why are you here? I ignored her and walked straight into the apartment, taking a tour to show everyone on the live stream the destitute life my sister had tearfully described. Despite her attempts to stop me, I opened the closet door and saw a corner piled high with designer shopping bags that hadn't been thrown away yet. I brought the camera closer. How did you know about this place? Autumn stood in front of me, her eyes full of caution. I gave a faint smile. My sister has become prosperous and forgotten her own sister. Honestly, are you going to invite me to sit down and have a glass of water? I grabbed her hand, the very hands she had claimed were rough, chapped, and ugly, now fair and soft. What are you doing, Bella? Autumn snapped. I gave a cold laugh. I'm the one who should be angry. My own sister, who knew she had such acting talent. So it turns out I was the one doing nothing, waiting for you to work and support me, then driving you out of the house. You should really apply to film school. Just then, Michael stepped out of the bedroom. The moment he saw me, his face changed color. I took my phone out of my pocket, aiming the camera directly at him. Surprised? Don't you want to welcome me? Michael awkwardly turned to Autumn. Get her out of here. Seeing her not react, he stepped forward and grabbed my collar. Just then, an old man with disheveled gray hair, holding a bottle of liquor, burst into the apartment. Michael, I raised you and you're hiding here to live in luxury. What do you mean by leaving me in that wretched hovel? He raised the bottle, intending to strike Michael. Michael was stunned. How did he know I was here? Of course, I had informed his father that his son had made money but was hiding it from him. After drinking, his rage flared, and he brought the liquor bottle to find him. I pulled out my phone. The livestream viewers, realizing they had been deceived, were furious. Very quickly, some people found Michael's address. Coincidentally, some of them lived in the same apartment complex. In less than 5 minutes, they were at his doorstep. They banged on the door loudly, demanding their money back, even threatening to smash the apartment if they weren't refunded. Inside, the situation was chaotic. Michael's father cursed, while the crowd outside yelled for their money. A few people rushed into the apartment and took some designer bags. Autumn cried and fought with one of the debt collectors over a handbag, but to no avail. After about half an hour, the police arrived and ended the chaos. Everyone present in the apartment was taken to the station. As a result, Michael and Autumn were convicted of fraud and defamation, sentenced to 3 years in prison, and ordered to fully refund all the donated money. After a year full of turmoil, I was admitted to my dream medical university, graduating at the top of my class. I sold my parents' house and left Jiang City. After graduating from university, I chose to study abroad for my PhD. Upon completing my program, I returned home and became an outstanding cardiologist. Plaques of honor and thank you banners covered the walls of my office. In every moment, I silently thanked this chance at rebirth. Those who suffer overcome it themselves. Those who are self-reliant save themselves.